You're unmuted and ready to go.
Thank you. This is the Landmarks Committee meeting for August 2025, and we do not yet have a quorum, but we will carry on. The first application is 96 Bank Street to renovate the rear facade and reconfigure the windows. When you're ready, please share your screen and we'll begin.
So Nancy Dale is coming out to the panel. Nancy, you're up.
Oh, am I up? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I will just share.
Thank you for being able to adjust your time.
Oh, no problem. I was debating, do I go, is last better or first better? But I always like to be first, so that worked out well. So thank you.
We're all wide awake.
Go to full screen mode. Well, thank you for your time today. My name is Nancy, and I am part of the architectural team for the new owners at 96 Bank Street, Mr. and Mrs. White. The previous owners had approved Landmarks and DOB renovation plans to convert this two-family home to a single-family residence, which we have superseded. While the overall approved plans remain the same, we are proposing to renovate the rear facade for two main reasons. Our clients purchased this home as they love the village and the history and want to make the aesthetic of the home more historically accurate, both on the interior and exterior of the home. The existing property has not had a major renovation in roughly 60 years, and the rear facade is in need of repairs. The existing lot line windows are also now non-compliant, and we're looking to rectify that. 96 Bank Street is part of the Greenwich Village Historic District and sits between Hudson Street and Greenwich Street. It is a 3-story row house and sits one building in from Greenwich Street. It sits within a donut block, with all the rear and side yards having limited visibility from the surrounding streets, depending on the building height. Not only is our rear not visible from any of the surrounding streets, it is also hidden from most of the rear yards within the donut, given we face our south neighbor's sidewall. For context, photo 2 shows 96 Bank Street's front facade. Photo 3 shows the view from Greenwich Street back to where our rear yard is located. There is no visibility to the rear facade as it sits behind 769 Greenwich Street's front facade. Photo 4 is the view from our roof back to the buildings on Hudson Street. 575 and 579's rear and side yard windows would have limited visibility to our facade. Photo 5 is the view to our rear, down to our rear yard and our adjoining neighbors' yards, for context and location where they are. Photo 6 is looking west, where the view includes the tops of the buildings across Greenwich Street, but no visibility to the street below. For further context, and for our rear yard and our facade, we are showing some of these additional photos from the rear yard's perspective. Photo 2 is actually the existing facade of our building to the north. Photo 3 is the view to our west neighbor. Photo 4 is the view to our south neighbor, and as this is their side lot line, there are no windows looking back at our facade. Photo 5 is east, showing that our immediate neighbors of 94 and 92 Bank Street do not have any visibility to our rear facade, while the taller corner property would have limited visibility. The existing rear facade has no historical elements, and the facade has been modified over the years with some visible infilling and additional through-wall units, ACs, as shown in photo 6 here. While there is an angled brick pattern on the east side, it was not carried over to the west side, creating an inconsistent brick pattern, facade pattern as seen in photo 4. So you can see here and here. The exposed steel and lintels are showing the initial signs of corrosion as shown in photos 2 and in 5. And while there's no structural concern at this time, it is our desire to ensure that this does not become an issue as the years progress. To illustrate the conditions of the existing lot line windows, we are showing the elevations and photos of the existing conditions. As you can see in photo 7, the west side windows of the house are now behind the elevator addition that was done at 769 Greenwich Street. This also provides a good angle, actually, of our visibility back to our rear facade from this neighbor's backyard. We thank them for permitting us to take this photo. The east side basement window faces the fence of 94 Bank Street. The parlor level window is actually DOB non-compliant due to fire separation distance and size of window ratio requirements. And while the second and third floor windows would be considered compliant at this time, our design proposal is showing only to replace in kind the third floor window. We'd like to keep that third floor window to provide eastern natural light to the primary bathroom vanity area, but understand that this window may also need to be covered at some point should 94 Bank Street renovate and extend. Under the currently approved LPC filing, the rear facade design was a replace in kind window configuration using a more traditional divided pane window style than what is actually currently there. It was called for repainting of the exposed steel and leaving the existing brick as is, patching where needed. Given our desire to protect the structural elements along with our desire to have a more historically accurate facade, our proposal is to infill the rear facade, having the windows follow the grid of the 3-window pattern typical of a row house, and fully brick veneer the facade for a harmonious surface. We propose to do the same infill and thin brick veneer cladding on the lot line facades. While the existing non-conforming windows were proposed to remain on the original filing for NYC DOB purposes, we are proposing to remove them all except for that third floor east side lot line window that we mentioned earlier. You will see on our proposed lot line facade window here in section 4. To achieve this renovation, we are proposing to infill the facade areas needed for both the new window configuration and to enclose exposed steel and lintels. This will be done with lightweight exterior partitions to ensure there is less load added to the existing facade structure. The new exterior partitions will align with the face of the existing brick that will remain. Then to create a continuous facade, we propose to add a vapor barrier with a thin brick veneer cladding system. This system will add approximately an additional depth of 3/4 of an inch of surface material to the facade. The brick cladding system that we are proposing is the brick veneer itself is 1/2 inch thick, and it goes on a metal grid system that ensures an even brick pattern installation. We are proposing to use the same brick color that matches the existing front facade. So this is what our front facade brick is, and this is the proposed brick to be used in the rear yard. The windows specified for the rear facade match the LPC approved front facade windows, and the existing metal sills would be replaced with a similar sandstone sill that we have on the front facade as well. As shown in these conceptual renderings, the proposed rear yard renovation stems from the new owner's desire to create a more historically accurate West Village home. It has the added fundamental benefit of protecting the underlying rear facade steel structure and removing the non-compliant lot line windows. Thank you for your time and consideration of our proposed rear yard renovation.
I'm sorry, are you finished, ma'am?
I am.
Oh, okay. I have the first question. You are asking for this as a modification of the previously approved plan.
Correct.
It was never carried out.
Correct.
And so anything that remains in that plan remains as it is, which I suspect is rooftop addition.
Correct.
Okay. Would you go back to the there was a nice rendering of the rear.
Oh, sure.
I think that shows, yeah, that one. You spoke about being historically accurate, which we understand to be the 3 windows and the
Right.
correct spacing. I'm curious as to why the parlor floor windows are so short.
So that is because the kitchen is there, and if we had left the windows at the same height, our kitchen cabinets would be above them. So we'd like to ensure that the windows themselves are not actually in front of the kitchen cabinets.
Okay, I understand that. Brian, do you have questions?
Well, I'm certainly appreciative of the direction that this owner is taking of restoring back to more of a historic appearance. And I think that really is, you've done, you might say, our work for us, because normally we're arguing for more of this configuration in the rear facades. And so you've taken that to heart, I guess, and did it for us. And obviously, I think it would be a very nicely done. And so I just thank you for that. When I've gone by there recently, I see the construction work and interior seems to be gutted. So yeah, I know you're in the midst of it. So hopefully
We
this
sure are. Yeah.
needs to go smoothly for you.
Yeah. And ultimately, they'll also be approaching, we haven't done it yet, just because obviously, to your point, we're in the middle of a bunch of other stuff, but the front facade, has been stripped of some of the elements initially that were there as well. So we'll be doing that as well. So
we'll discuss this later, but I think I would be inclined to ask for some solution to the kitchen cabinets. Perhaps the freestanding, if you will, rather than built-in variety that could be attractively seen through more historic windows there of a historic length, so that it would be the sense of something standing behind them rather than built in front of them. And we'll come up with some recommendation.
okay.
Okay. Are there comments from anyone else? I won't, it's so, we have such a small number. I believe there are not. So thank you very much.
Don't see any hands or anything.
If she could take down her shared screen for a second.
Okay, could you take
I heard something completely broken up.
what?
Oh, you want me to take it off full screen?
Take down the shared screen, please.
Yeah, you don't want me to share it?
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, now we
No,
can.
I don't see any reasons.
Okay. The next application is for 394 West Broadway to establish a master plan for painted wall signage.
Which one is it? 349. So that's Jackie Pood, Dead Deep Value.
Uh-huh.
Brian, are you elevating people?
Mark is elevating people, yes.
Oh.
Jackie is coming back. She's
And there she is. Okay.
Hi. Whew,
please.
that's scary.
You're ready.
Can everyone hear and see me?
Yes, welcome back.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. Let me just get the presentation up. Do I have the right one? This should be the right one. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, can you get the picture to fill it?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, do you see this in full screen now?
yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And
So
if you have multiple pictures, there's something important, detail, just enlarge the one you're speaking about.
okay, will do. So thank you, committee members and staff. Thank you for hearing this application tonight. My name is Jackie Pood-Duvalin, JPD Preservation Consulting. I'm making this presentation on behalf of Overall Murals. This is 394 West Broadway, an Italian-style store and loft building constructed in 1872 in the SoHo Cast Iron Historic District extension. It stands on the west side of the street between Broome and Spring Streets. This proposal is for a master plan for a painted wall sign on the north lot line wall. This building has long had a large painted wall sign on this wall On the left, you can see the 1940s tax photo, which shows a sign for the steel company that had been inside the building. In the middle is the 2009 designation photo, where you can see the existing sign was already in place and it's for the commercial tenant, which is 7 for all mankind. And on the right is the current condition. So in other words, the same grandfathered sign is still there today. And it is larger than what is typically approved by landmarks for a painted wall sign and closer to the facade. So those are two factors for which we have to show this at a public hearing rather than being eligible for a staff level permit for a painted wall sign.
But are you saying that you want to put the new sign exactly in the position and size of the current one?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So here are additional photos, just zooming in so you get a bit of a closer look. Yes, the sign is, close to 20 years old now, or maybe 20 years old. So there's some peeling paint, and the commercial tenant just wants an opportunity for a change. So here's a render of the proposed sign. Now the reasons why this sign has to be reviewed at hearing are 1, because of its size, 2, its proximity to other LPC approved painted wall signs that are directly across the street, and I'll show those to you later in this presentation. 3, its distance from the front facade. Again, it's really, kind of abutting where the facade material begins at the front facade, and that's, again, because that's what the current mural does. And 4, it's lacking a border, which the commission has typically wanted to see on painted wall signs.
Would you say the last thing again?
The lack of a border. There's usually a white or a black border as part of one of these proposals. The reason for its placement and size is because it would be covering the area of the existing grandfathered sign. The criteria for the proposed sign would be as you see listed here. The sign content would be limited to its approved square footage. And there would be no regulation of content. It would be for a 10-year term of installation. The square feet of the sign would be approximately 837 square feet, and the sign area would be approximately 44.94% of the visible portion of the wall. And you can see the location of the sign on this proposed elevation drawing. Unfortunately, the resolution of the drawing gets a little fuzzy to read here, but it's showing a sign that is 29 feet 8 inches high, 28 feet 7 inches wide, and set back 1 foot from the front facade. So the lighter orange area is showing you the most visible portion of this lot line wall when viewed from the street. Do you want me to zoom in on this at all? Unfortunately,
That's clear.
Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't improve its resolution. It's a problem that I have to resolve.
We have the dimensions.
Yes.
That's fine.
So here's just for comparison, existing condition photo, proposed condition photo montage. Here are locations of other master plans approved for painted wall signs within this district. And here are some other nearby large painted wall signs, which are also grandfathered conditions. Now, I mentioned that there was painted wall signs within close proximity to this proposal. These are those signs. So this is across the street. You don't really see these. Well, you would see the Google one, the one that says 393 West Broadway. You would see that somewhat when looking, from the other side of the street from the east side of the street, looking toward our subject building. Here's additional painted wall signs that are on West Broadway at 465 and 459. These two signs also incidentally face each other. And that's our conclusion. So we think that there has always been a precedent on this building for a large painted wall sign. And what we're looking to do is just to replicate the size of the existing sign. And I welcome your questions and comments.
And you are also, in addition to say it's obviously what it is, as an existing condition, that
Mhm.
if not typically, that often the variance that's being asked for has been granted in other LPC applications.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Brian, any questions?
No, seems pretty straightforward to me.
Anyone else who's online? Raise your hand, please, if you're on Zoom. Okay, they're done. Thank you very much.
Yes, Pete Davies,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
and he's been promoted.
2 minutes maximum, please.
Okay, Pete.
Hi, thank you very much. So it's curious to me that this wall has been allowed to come to such a deteriorated state. And there's been no discussion or presentation about what will be done beyond the sign in terms of getting the wall back in shape. So why would this owner be granted the allowance for additional time when what they've shown is that they let their building fall apart in essence? And also the previous sign, which I know was not done when it was in a historic district, but it's much more deferential to the buildings than what we're being shown now. And I know also that there is no control over the content, but just curious if whatever image we're going to see, will it be basically a widespread shot for the next 10 years that we see above West Broadway? Thank you very much.
Okay, may I answer?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the wall itself is not in poor condition. What you're seeing in these photos is just peeling paint. So this is paint that's over 20 years old, and it is starting to peel, so that, it really just has to be scraped and repainted. I know building ownership was dealing with other issues about, the building before they turned their attention to this lot line wall. So it's just peeling paint. It's not that the wall is in bad condition at all.
Okay, thank you. Are there other questions or comments? We'll move on now, please. Thank you again, Jackie. 2729 Great Jones Street to replace the sidewalk.
Yes.
I just want to say goodbye and thank you. I forgot to do that.
Oh, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jackie.
Bye,
We're
thanks.
trying to get rid of you.
I know, I'm gone. I'm just gonna listen in. Bye.
Okay, Orlando Garcia should be able to speak.
Yeah. Very good.
There we are. If you'd give us the screen, please.
Looks like he's trying.
Mr. Garcia, if you need more time to get an order, we'll go to the next application and come back. Mark, if you could just elevate.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, we're here now. Yes, fine. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was trying to share my screen. For some reason, it doesn't let me. I don't know why. Let me just try one more time. It's just, it appears the screen is black. I don't know if you can see the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
No, it is a black screen.
Chenault and Brian, may I suggest that I call up from the website, and while I'm doing that, you hear the next one?
Okay.
Yes, I think that would be the
All right, yes.
Okay, so we'll move on now to 524 Broadway. Alter a non-historic canopy at the Broadway retail entrance and install halo lit signage. If the applicant from that could be elevated.
¿Qué ocurre eso?
Sí, te proponen que lo hagas desde el website, ¿cierto? Que te conectes desde el website, no desde el aplicativo.
Hi all. My colleague Julie Rosen, I believe, is also in the webinar. Could she be admitted for the presentation?
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Thanks, Sarah.
Give,
Can you all hear me okay?
I'm sorry, yes, it's full screen now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. So good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Julie Rosen from Higgins, Quays, Barth and Partners. We're the preservation consultants on the project. I'm joined by my colleague, Sarah Ripple, who you just met, as well as other members of the project team. 524 Broadway is a store and loft building. It was constructed in 1903 and designed by Arthur H. Bowditch. And as you can see from the map, the building is located at the southeast corner of Broadway and Spring Street in the SoHo Cast Iron Historic District. The building runs through block from Broadway to Crosby. It's quite long and narrow, as you can see, and actually only has 3 bays fronting onto Broadway, which you can see in the left photo. This is a mixed-use building with retail and restaurant space on the first and second floors, and then offices on the floors and above. One thing I do want to point out while we're looking at this view of the building is that both the office entry and the retail entry are located on Broadway, and I'm going to come back to why that's important. We are working with Lululemon. They have leased the ground floor and the second floor retail space of the building, which is quite a lot of square footage in the building. And this is going to be a new flagship location for the company, which is a very exciting project. The scope of work that you see on the slide here in this rendered view is isolated to the retail entrance bay on Broadway. So the right entry that you see is the entrance to the office floors above. The retail entry is the center bay and is demarcated by the signage and the awning and the flagpoles. I wanted to clarify for you this evening that there are 2 specific items that require commission level review at LPC and are before you today. The first is that we are proposing to reclad the existing commission approved canopy. And the second is that we are proposing to install a halo lit sign at the face of the canopy. The 2 flags that you see in the rendering are being reviewed at staff level because they are going to be installed on existing flagpoles that were previously approved by the commission. So this is the main and only entrance to the retail space. So the upgrade to the canopy and the installation of illuminated signage on the face of the canopy is incredibly important for its visibility and wayfinding to draw potential visitors to the store, to the main entrance, and to differentiate it from the main building entrance. I'd also wanted to clarify that the signage and the proposal that you see in this rendering is the only signage that is being proposed for the retail space. There is not going to be any other signage on this elevation or on Spring Street. Next. We have a few photos here showing pre-work conditions. So this shows the state of the retail entrance when the last tenant was still in place. Again, 2 flagpoles utilized, and then also a contemporary commission approved canopy with signage at the face of the canopy. All of these elements, the flagpoles, the canopy, the signage, these all date to a 1998 LPC commission level approval, which found that all of these new elements were appropriate to the building. This also means that the canopy is now almost 30 years old. It's starting to see some wear and tear, and so we're looking to make some upgrades to the cladding and the aesthetics of the canopy. The previously approved signage, the way that it was installed is just really not legible, particularly for a main retail entrance. So again, we're looking to make some upgrades to the signage type and the legibility to make it very clear about the entry point and the tenancy in the building. Next. We also have some very current photos. Lululemon has already begun their interior fit out work in anticipation of a fall 25 opening, so it's coming up. The prior retailer, of course, has moved out of the space and all the old signage has come down. But we wanted to show you this condition with the signage removed to show you the kind of the basis of the existing canopy structure. It's a very simple metal structure with tiebacks. As you can see, there's a bit of rusting and deterioration. There's also clear glazing that was utilized for the infill panels of the canopy. This has been very challenging to maintain over the years, largely due to dirt accumulation, and it just can create a look that is, again, not maintainable, and there is a desire to have a more easily maintainable condition that does not show debris quite as clearly. Next. We also wanted to look at the current context. So where are we in relation to the rest of Broadway? Broadway is, of course, a very active retail street. We see a wide variety in the types of signage utilized for identification and wayfinding. This includes projecting signage like flags and banners, as well as illuminated signage and canopies, and you can see a mix of those as well. And of course, our storefront where the Aritzia signage is in the foreground is the subject of our current project. Next. There's also a long history of retailers in Soho advertising their goods with a variety of signage types. This is a 1937 view. This is looking south on Broadway, and it just reinforces the amount of signage that was historically present on the thoroughfare, as well as the importance of visible and projecting signage. Next. And at 524 Broadway specifically, we also see the use of flagpoles and large panel signs historically used on the Broadway elevation to indicate commercial tenancy in the building. Next. We've identified a wide variety of canopy designs and glazing types, as well as signage treatments on canopies along Broadway in the Historic District. There are a number of examples. We chose a handful to show you today. They're all located on this map, and all of these examples have been found appropriate by the Commission. Again, a variety of designs for canopies, some a little bit lighter in structure, like what we currently have at 524 Broadway, but also other canopies have also been found appropriate, such as the canopies at 557 Broadway, as well as 580 Broadway, that have a more kind of solid C-channel type structure to them. We also see that LPC has approved signage not only on the tops of canopy structures, but also on the face, like the Sephora and Arc'teryx signage. Next. Within the last several years, LPC has also approved a variety of illuminated signs along Broadway. We have a selection of those past approvals shown here. I want to just point out the Arc'teryx example on the lower right-hand corner. This is just up the block from 524 Broadway. This is a halo lit sign installed within a C channel. This is very similar to what we're proposing for Lululemon at 524 Broadway. This particular example was actually recently approved at staff level because LPC staff can now approve halo lit signage. There's a very specific reason that our halo lit signage is requiring commission level review, and that is because it is integrated into a larger canopy redesign that requires commission level review. So the two are being seen in conjunction and are therefore requiring review at a public hearing. Next. So here we have a comparative view for you. On the left, enlarged photo is a view of the pre-work condition with the former retailer signage still installed. And on the right, we have a proposed rendered view of Lululemon's scope. As I noted earlier, there's two items that require commission level review: the cladding of the existing commission-approved canopy, the installation of a new halo lit sign on the face of the canopy, and then we are also proposing to install a translucent grayscale film onto the clear glazing, which, as I noted earlier, is going to help hide some of that debris that accumulates on top of the canopy. So we're actually not removing the glass. It's all staying intact. The existing canopy structure is all staying intact. This is really an additive approach to improve the maintenance and the look of the canopy.
Where, please, is this film?
It's going to be on the glazing, and we have some details for you on the following slide. But I did just want to reinforce, I don't want to be too repetitive, but I think one of the great things about this proposal is that we're not impacting any historic fabric here. The modifications are all being made to contemporary elements. Next. So here we have the details. On the upper left is an RCP of the existing canopy. So the 5 glazed panels that you see there, those are currently clear glazing. We're proposing to install a translucent grayscale film. We actually did a mock-up on site, so that's the photo in the lower right-hand corner. So you can see how that translucent film is still going to allow some light penetration through, but it's going to hide that accumulation of debris that we're currently seeing with the clear glazing. What we're proposing is to, again, keep the existing canopy structure intact, and then we're going to be adding new aluminum channels to just the outer perimeter of the canopy. Those are going to be painted black to match the existing canopy structure. Everything's going to be mechanically fastened, very well integrated, structurally designed, but it's just going to create a little bit more prominence to the canopy and create a really nice backdrop for the new signage. Next. And then the halo lit illuminated signage is going to be installed on the face of the canopy. So the letters are actually going to be installed onto the new aluminum channel. You can see this in elevation and in section. Each of the letters and the logo are going to be individually mounted to the aluminum channel. The letters themselves are going to be 13.5 inches tall. The logo is just a ½ inch taller at 14 inches. Generally very modest in terms of the scale of signage. As you may be aware, LPC staff can approve letters up to 18 inches in height, so we're well below that here. There's going to be a little bit of breathing room between the letters and the outside of the channel as well, but the contrast of the white acrylic letters with the black painted aluminum will be really helpful for visibility. As I mentioned, these are halo lit letters. So the individual sign is going to be held approximately 1 inch off the canopy, and each letter will have a shielded source of light behind it. And that's in order to provide this backlit glow. And we've confirmed with the signage designer that all of the attachments, all of the conduit, and the light bulbs will all be concealed from view. So we're going to have this really, really nice, clean look to the installation. Next. And here we see the proposal in the larger context of the building and the base along Broadway and Spring Street. The signage scope is modestly scaled in comparison to the size of the building. It's also consistent with the other canopy designs and signage previously approved by LPC. The building being on Broadway on a busy retail thoroughfare also makes retail identification particularly important, and also makes it an appropriate location for lit signage in the district. There will also not be any impact to historic fabric, as I noted. And I did just want to conclude by saying that we did meet with LPC staff to review this application already, and they currently have us calendared for the September 9th public hearing. So thank you so much for your time this evening, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. May I just get down again the dimensions of the canopy itself and the height of the letters? I can't see the screen too well, so in detail.
Sure. So yes, so the existing canopy dimensions, we may need to confirm with the signage designer what those existing dimensions are, but the new channel is going to be about 16 inches in height. So that's what you're going to see wrapping around the perimeter. So it's a 16-inch
okay.
channel.
The
That's
letters themselves are
the letters themselves. Yes. So the letters themselves, the Lululemon letters are 13.5 inches tall. And the logo is 14 inches tall.
I have no questions. Brian, have you something?
Well, if you go back to slide number 10, and also, so I'm sure that this is just some kind of a quirk, just to make sure that the scope of work is, as you say, what you show here, comparing the existing elevation to the proposed elevation,
Yes.
shows a reworking of the engaged pilasters on each side of the opening, giving it kind of an outstanding.
Thank you for noting that there. I apologize for that. That is just a rendering quirk. There is no change to the infill or to the masonry surrounding that, and we will make sure that that is revised for our public hearing presentation.
All right, and then, of course, we see that the windows change as well, and I want to make sure the
Also a
windows.
rendering quirk. Yep, we'll make sure. Apologies. I think maybe our last rendering shows it a little bit more clearly. I think we just lost some mullions there.
Yeah. All right, and it seems like.
There you go. This is a little better. Apologies.
Yeah. The Lululemon is just down the street a little bit. And
They're right
just,
next door, actually.
Yeah.
yeah, just to the south. So they're moving into this new space as a new flagship location.
All right, then it's otherwise pretty straightforward.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
All right. Pete, is that right? Is Pete Davies? There we are. Go
Okay,
ahead.
great. Thank you. And Brian, thank you for clarifying that about the what we were seeing on the renderings, because it was jumping out at me too. What is a couple of questions? And hopefully you can clarify on these things. You're not proposing any internally illuminated signage anywhere for this store.
Correct. It is only halo lit illumination
Okay.
we are proposing.
And what is the depth of the awning on the side where we're going to see the blank, apparently black panel that from the front of the awning to the building?
Let me see if we have those dimensions, because
I don't think their dimensions are included in the imagery.
we have not been able to confirm those yet, just because it is an existing condition. But we are not changing the projection of the canopy at all. We are simply adding the C channels onto the existing structure.
Okay, but it will be a much bulkier presence as you're approaching the entry from north and south.
Right.
Sorry about the noise.
There will be more visibility, you're correct, but we see this proposal is in keeping with other canopies that we see on Broadway, including at Scholastic and at the Arc'teryx store, both approved by the commission.
I'm very familiar with it. I live on the block just to the north.
Oh, great.
So I'm very familiar. And just finally, is Lululemon moving out of 520? So this signage that we're seeing now will be the only Lululemon signage we're seeing in this immediate area?
I believe that is the case. We actually have the Lululemon team on the meeting. Perhaps they can raise their hand and they can respond to your
Yes,
question.
because the context of this signage, if that other signage is remaining, it becomes somewhat of a different issue.
Okay, well, we can't settle it clearly. So
Excuse me?
we take note, but we can't settle it.
Hi, this is Lisa Ewing. I am the Senior Director of Global Retail Design for Lululemon, and we are moving out of our current space. So what you see on the corner, our new space will be the only signage. So once we finish completion of our renovation, we'll be moving out of our current space.
Okay, and then just finally, we're not going to see later vinyl lettering affixed to the windows or anything like that of Lululemon, Lululemon.
There's no current proposal for additional signage.
I'm sorry?
There is no current proposal for additional signage beyond what you're seeing now.
So if that were to happen, that would come to us in a separate
Yes.
application?
If it is determined that there is a need for additional signage, once the new store is open and there has been an opportunity to see how the current signage is working, yes, anything would come before you that doesn't meet the staff rules.
Thank you.
Can we just please be confined to what's before us? Okay, thank you. Are there other people who wish to speak about this application?
Nope, no others.
Thank you. Can we go back to the previous one then, please?
Okay, please close the screen for Lululemon.
To replace the sidewalk.
There we go. All right.
And I understand that Mark is putting up the slides. And Mr. Garcia, if you would just call for the next slide when you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm trying to share, but it still shows a black screen. What should I do? Should I?
We're providing it, and you can tell us when to move.
Okay. So I'm doing this presentation on behalf of the structural engineer, Stephen Wong, who is the applicant of record. We are asking to permission to replace the existing granite sidewalk, especially as the conditions have deteriorated over the years. Let's move to the next one, please. The sidewalk, as you can see in these photos, is composed of different types of flags. There is concrete flags, gray concrete, and there is flags of big slabs of granite of an approximate depth of 10 inches. They're very heavy. Next. Because of the difficulty maintaining the granite flags, the joints in between them allow water to come in. This is the existing conditions of the vault, just right underneath. These are the mechanical rooms of the building. And as you can see, there is deterioration on the beams. They have corroded, there is delamination, and they are causing problems in the mechanical, electrical equipment of the building. On the previous image, I forgot to mention that there is no curb. And as you can see in this picture, the granite flags are directly supported on steel beams. There is no waterproofing. There is no second slab, and that has caused water to go into the mechanical rooms. Next. This is these are the rooms in the vault directly below the granite flags. The electrical equipment on the left was recently replaced as a consequence of the deterioration of the electrical panels that were totally rusted. And what you see in the bottom right is the pump room, which is actually having the same situation. There is no ceiling because it fell off. So it hasn't been replaced just because actually, and because there is no any thermal insulation, there is condensation and water is just seeping through every time it rains. Next. So what the engineer is proposing is to replace the entire sidewalk composed of granite flags and concrete for a new concrete slab, which is composed of two slabs. The first slab will carry the waterproofing membrane, and then the wearing surface would be a pigmented concrete slab that will try to match the one of the adjacent neighbors. Next. This is the adjacent buildings on the left, 31 Great Jones Street. It has pigmented concrete. It looks a little bit gray, but it's darker. In the center, you have 27, 29 Great Jones. And on the left, you have 25 Great Jones Street, which both sides have concrete slabs. Next. So it's a challenge maintaining the granite flags. As I mentioned, they're very thick. They have cracks. The joints are hard to maintain. They change the caulking every 3 months, and they pay like $10,000 every 3 months to replace the caulking. But that doesn't solve the issue. The beams are compromised. And the structural support, according to the engineer, is not structurally sound. We're very worried about that. And right below the sidewalk is the mechanical systems of the building. The steel beams need to be repaired, and there is really no. We were studying possibilities to reinstall the granite flags, but it's just physically not possible. It would entail to remove the entire structure of that portion of the building, which makes it cost prohibitive. So we're proposing a new concrete sidewalk with the proper waterproofing membrane and a sidewalk that it can be safer with, for the building. I am the architect of the renovation of the spa. We are currently renovating several areas of the spa. Back in December, I met with the community board too, and I presented the replacement of the storefront, which is scheduled to start in about 3 weeks. That time we didn't know this was going to be a pressing issue, but the board of the building decided that the replacement of the electrical equipment and the future replacement of other parts of the pump rooms and fire pump rooms really need solid sidewalk before they do any further repairs.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions about this application? Brian or?
Well, we just asked, I don't think you showed any samples of the coloring of the sidewalk, of the concrete. You mentioned that the neighbor is pigmented concrete. Is that meaning special color, and are you going to try to match?
Right, we're going to try to match it. I had added to this presentation that we saw was prepared by the engineer. I just added more photos to that presentation that unfortunately can't share now. But I guess we can submit additional documents and images.
But your concept is just to have one continuous sidewalk look.
That is there, and I don't know if it's not really noticeable. Maybe.
Okay, that's fine. Good, thank you. Brian, anything else?
No, thank you.
Anyone else have any comments?
Pete Davies, come on up.
My turn?
Yes.
Great. So on my block on Broadway in Soho, right across the street at 541 Broadway, they just completely took out the granite slabs and did work below and then put the slabs back in. I see this happening in the neighborhood all the time. Despite the fact that maybe next door there's concrete, tearing out historic fabric of granite.
Can we discuss this proposal if you have
Excuse me, what?
You have something about this proposal.
I am talking about they're planning to rip out the historic fabric of the granite sidewalk, and I'm talking about the inappropriateness of doing that. Because that is historic fabric that should be preserved by the Landmarks Preservation Commission, and that's the problem with this entire proposal. So I would hope that the committee would support the preservation of the neighborhood and act accordingly. Thank you very much.
Okay, are there other comments on this?
Nothing else.
Okay, thank you. We'll begin the business session now. Brian, I need to switch devices. I won't be a moment.
Did you say we're going into business session because the other items are withdrawn or laid over? So it would seem. All right. Let's see, I believe that Chenault is going to come back on when he just switches to a different device. And now we will go into.
I've lost my picture, but I'm here and we can continue. Brian, would you just say the names of the addresses and we'll speak about each one?
First of all, I think you may have cut off when I was saying that 5, 6, and 7 addresses are withdrawn or laid over.
Oh, yes. Well, one of them didn't send the proper information, didn't send any application in. And so we recommend denial of them based on that.
Okay.
And the other 2 are just plain old layovers.
Got it. All right, so we're back to the first address was 96 Bank Street.
I would like to propose for it that we recommend that the windows be of a conventional parlor floor rear facade for the proportions of this, which just means taller windows there, and that the internal problem be solved in some way.
All right. And otherwise, there would not be any other recommendation except to.
That's what I'm proposing that we say.
Okay.
So that the result is that the historic windows are the windows are historic proportion.
Right. All right. Well, that finishes that one. The next one.
I think that's all for that one, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the next application.
Next application is 394 West Broadway for the master plan signage.
And based on the fact that this has been done routinely, it seems, I believe that we approve it. If similar situations of non-conforming signs have been approved because they exist, and just the content is changing, then it would seem that we're fine approving. I mean that we, based on precedent.
Yes, based on the fact that the new master plan would be for the same size as the current sign, so they're not increasing.
Right, and she provided evidence that they have approved similar irregular signs.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
And then next,
That's 20, well, on the agenda, the next one is 27 and 29 Great Jones Street, which is that sidewalk.
I don't understand how it could be preserved.
Well, it was an interesting point that other places in the neighborhood are somehow preserving the granite slabs, or they are getting new granite slabs to put down on top of. I mean, after all, there's the new sidewalk is going to have 2 poured layers on top of steel deck. So you could start with the steel deck, you could start with the first pour and the waterproofing, and then the top wear layer could be granite. I don't know if we have a whole lot of other examples of that, but it's a good point, you know, it would be. But on that particular block, we have all poured concrete, it seems, except for this address.
Are you saying that we approve it as it is, or we recommend granite?
Well, I'm personally very much attracted to the idea of putting a granite wear surface back onto the new sidewalk. If possible.
Then we'll agree on that as our recommendation. And the remaining one.
The last one is 524 Broadway, which is the Lululemon canopy and signage.
And did you have any modification to suggest?
No, I think they answered all the questions we had, and it seems appropriately scaled and the types. And so, yeah, I personally, since we're in business session, I personally object to the banners, but it's not under our purview. I think it's way oversized banners, but
right, but they're not before us.
Not for us
because they exist.
Yeah, I'm saying it anyway.
Okay, then that one is cleared as it is.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all very much, and good night.
Yep, that's it.
Brian, I'll write these and send them to you.
All right.
You're the only person to send to. Okay, thank you.
All right, good. Thank you. And good night, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks for attending. Yes, we are adjourned.